Now it's time to create your block elements inside of your Lego website now that we've got an index and a CSS linked together and talking. So inside of Dreamweaver, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a set of block elements inside of our body tag. The body tag on your HTML file or your source code is where you want everyone to see all the objects. So we want people to see boxes for the header, the nav, the article, the footer, all those kinds of things. So they're going to go inside our body. The way that they're styled is going to go inside this CSS here at the top. So we know that we're going to have to create a header. So I'm going to create a header tag inside my body, and I'm going to create some space in between, and you can type the word header there for now so that way you can see it. And note that we know it goes all the way across the page to over here, but we can't see it because it's got no background color, it's got no width, height, etc. But by default it does span all the way across the page. I'm then going to go after the header, and I'm going to go ahead and create an article. I know I'm going to need an article. I know I'm going to need what's called an A-side, usually sitting to the side of the article. I know I'm also going to need a footer. And then I'm going to need some other pieces as well. One of the things I'm going to need later on is a nav, but I haven't been really asked to do that. If we're looking at the Lego site establishment instructions, you're going to be creating the nav in the next assignment. So we'll get to that later. For now, I need a header, article, A-side, footer, and then there's something else that I need called a section, but we'll come back to that when we're ready for it. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call upon these inside my CSS. So I'm going to go up to my CSS up here, and I'm going to call upon my header and open up my brackets. I'm going to do the same thing for article, A-side, and my footer. And note that I'm creating space in between and I'm not capitalizing anything because I want to stay consistent and in lowercase form. So now I've got these here. In the assignment instructions, you were asked to create a header that is 800 pixels wide by 100 pixels tall and has a background color with the hex number for red. So we're going to go into our header style for that one. We're going to create a width equal to 800 pixels. And remember, we're in CSS now, so we're not using equal signs or quotation marks. We're using colons and semicolons. And I'm going to hit enter after that, and I'm going to tab it inward because I want to show that this is underneath the header and not on another tag. And that's a good coding technique to keep it so that you can read stuff. If you keep creating a big long line of code, it actually gets really bogged down and it's really hard to find what you want. So the next thing we're going to do is height, which is going to be 100 pixels tall. And then we need a background color. So I'm going to do background dash color. And what I was told to do was a hex number for red. So if you recall, we can type in red as a name, or we can do a hex number, which requires a pound sign before it. And down here at the bottom in our color picker, you can see that by default, it's defaulting to black, which is 6 zeros. The first 2 zeros being red, second 2 green, third 2 blue. I want full red, no blue, no green. So I'm going to leave the blue and the green at 0. And remember, the end of this counting option is going to be your, it goes 0 through F. So if I take this color picker and I actually drag it to the top right corner and you try and get as far up there as possible, you get really close to red, okay? And so you can go ahead and select that, hitting enter. And if you need to, like mine has a little 4 at the end, I can replace that with a 0. And now I've got a full red FF0000. Once I do that and I click up in my live view, you can see now there's my header. It's going all the way across the page, or it's not going all the way across the page anymore because I've defined a width and it's got a background color and exists. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and create that article, A-side, and footer and start working with those semantic elements. Oh, don't forget to hit save all for all your files.